I'm going to be really honest. I had no idea what kind of teacher I was until I left the classroom. I assumed what was natural and normal for me was natural and normal for other people. And first day of my principalship, I became a principal in a school that was going to be closed down because of low achievement. Arkansas had a really intense school improvement model that said, you look at the schools in your geographic area and you decide who's the highest performing in a school district of your makeup. And if you are not where they are, you have 3 years to close the gap, or your entire district will be dissolved. The division will be dissolved, buildings will be sold. In Arkansas, over 7 years, we closed 1/4 of our school divisions because they couldn't make the bar. We were in our 3rd year, about to be closed down. I was teaching earth science again in a new school for me, knowing it's only going to last a year. Middle of the school year, the principal dies. They asked me to step up. Not because I'm trained as a principal, but because nobody's going to come in with 1 semester left. So the State Department sent a school improvement specialist to meet with the new principal on January the 3rd, and she said, you're going to need to evaluate your teachers. Your school is really underperforming, and it could be the quality of your teachers. And I just remember saying, okay, did nobody tell you as you were driving to my district that you were going to meet with somebody who yesterday was a teacher? Because you have just pissed me off. You can say that to the State Department, you can. And she said, well, I'm sorry, I'm telling you that if you don't have every evaluation done, dotted and crossed, and sent in by the 14th of February, we will start closing procedures on the 15th. And I said, well, I don't know how to evaluate a teacher. She said, it's easy. You just use this 12-page appraisal instrument. You meet with them, go in the classroom, mark what you see, tell them one thing to do better and one thing they did well, and then you're finished. I said, but I'm going to go into content areas I don't even know. And she said, you just have to work the form, sir. I said, really? The goal's the form? So I thought, well, I'll try it. So I called my friend, Ev Dobbs, because she teaches language arts, and she's my best friend, and I'm safe with Ev. So I said, Ev, I have never evaluated a teacher in my life. Would you be my guinea pig and let me evaluate your class tomorrow? And that's the way science people talk. Be my guinea pig, let me evaluate, let me experiment. And she responded the way English teachers do. John, I would be highly honored to serve as a benchmark upon this your learning journey. And I was like, is that a yes? She said, but of course, my friend. Now listen, I understand typically there's a pre-conference, but I say nay. Nay to the pre-conference. We're starting a new unit. Why should you know where we're going when the children don't? I will see you promptly at 8, my friend. Adieu, adieu. Okay. So the next day I walked in with the metric. And I was already overwhelmed by the metric, so I sat on the table back and I'm thinking, flip, 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 flip. There's a lot to look for. And then Ev started the way I guess English teachers do. Young people, authors, writers, thinkers. Last quarter, thesis. Developing an idea. Elaborating with details and example, logos, ethos, pathos, until all could see the brilliance of our idea. Now instead of elaboration, we aim for brevity, brevity, brevity. With the rhythm, with the rhythm, with the rhythm. You've guessed it. Today we begin our unit on poetry. We shall read poetry. We shall write poetry. We shall become poetry. And I'm like, oh my gosh, where do you write that down? Look at her go. Look at her go. Little 8th grade kid next to me said, she is on today. I said, I know. Where do you write that down? Page 11 of the Arkansas Teacher Appraisal Instrument says evidence of student engagement. Egocentric evidence, analytical evidence, cognitive evidence. I'm like, what? I just want to write, she is really good. And as I tried to figure out what those words meant, I thought, okay, I'm too far out of my element. I can't do this yet because I don't know what to value. So I just looked at Ev and I gave her 2 thumbs up and I walked out. I thought, I'm out. I'm going to math or science. Right next door is Phyllis Roden. I know math and science. I'm going to Phyllis Roden because Phyllis Roden is easy. Here's what I know about Phyllis Roden. Phyllis Roden has no energy and no personality. I mean, I'm not talking behind her back. I told her that at the Christmas party. I said, Phyllis, I love you, but you have no energy, no personality. And she said, what are you going to do about it? But here's the paradox. not only with her general ed kid, but also with her gifted math class and with her special ed resource kids. She has the highest scores in the county in all three groups. How is she doing that when she is one breath away from a coma? So I walked into class with my clipboard and she said, "Observation, huh?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, it's just the process by which," she said, "Whatever, have a seat back there." Shh. Well, I didn't know you could shush the principal. But I sat down and I got quiet. And then she began class. "Okay, boys and girls, come on in. Today's Tuesday, group day, yay. Look, on your tables, there are 3 sheets of paper, yellow, pink, and white. Pick up the yellow sheet of paper. The yellow sheet of paper shows the cost of carpet by the square foot, tile by the square yard, blah, 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 blah. You can read it, okay? It also shows the cost of baseboards in linear foot measure. Everybody got it? Great. Now this is the special ed class. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to pick up the pink sheet of paper. The pink sheet of paper is a budget. Your group has 3 days to redesign the 8th grade building. Hallways, classrooms, closets, everything has to be refloored. I don't care what you floor, but that pink sheet is your budget. It's a grant from the State Department. Spend all of it. You make 100 if you on the floor and the baseboard spend 100% of the budget. If you only spend 90% of the budget, you make a 90. If you go over budget 40%, you made a 60. Don't go over budget, okay? All right. Now, the other sheet of paper, the white sheet of paper, is just a blueprint of the school. I have no idea if you're going to use it. I'm just telling you, you will not have time to measure everything. Are there any questions? I didn't think so. Ready to go. And so all the kids start to talk, and as I'm trying to decide, where do you write that down? Because that did not look like Ev's. And as I'm flipping through the form, the group of kids in front of me start to talk. "Hey, what should we do? Should we divide up?" Well, why would we divide up? Well, some of us can work on area and some of us can work on perimeter. Yeah, but you don't divide up. You have to measure first because area and perimeter are based upon the same measurements. Yeah, but she just said we're not going to have time to measure. Okay, think like a mathematician. I think we should sample. We should get some sample data. So why don't we all go measure 4 things and come back? And if the measurements match up to the blueprint, then we'll just use the blueprint and not have to measure anymore. Okay, that's a good strategy. And then we'll divide up. Why do you keep saying divide up? Well, you know if we split it up, we're going to spend more money on area than we do perimeter. Kid grabbed that other sheet of paper and said, "No, look at this. What if we buy this really cheap tile and this really expensive mahogany baseboard? We could spend more on the outside than the inside." Okay. Every group of kids was having that same conversation. And about that time, I think Phyllis needed my attention because she began to snap at me. Well, I didn't know you could snap at a principal either, but I looked up like, "What?" And she said, she walked over to a dry erase board and wrote 1.6.9. Students will be able to recognize and articulate the relationships between area and perimeter in a real world setting. Boom. And I remember flipping over and wrote, "Posted or objective?" Crap. Why am I getting so excited that I can fill in the metric? The excitement that I should be having is, did you hear what the kids just said? How did she get there and not move? I get it now. It's not her personality. It's not her style. It's the tasks she designs. And so I had an emergency faculty meeting that day, and I said, "Here are blank observation forms for this year. Find the one with your name on it. You'll notice they're blank right now, okay? They are dated differently, so it looks like I did them over 6 weeks. Please, now, write up a lesson you've taught, you're going to teach, or I don't even care if you ever teach it. Just write up a lesson. Have a friend with a different color pen evaluate it now. Don't bother reading it. Tell them what numbers you want them to mark, what comments you want them to give. We are now done with teacher appraisal. Social Studies Department Chair Joyce McCone raises her hand. Melissa Sue of Melissa Sue's. I said, "Joyce, what's wrong?" She said, "John, I am uncomfortable with this." I said, "Why, Joyce?" She said, "John, I believe this is illegal." And I said, "Joyce, I know it is." We are done hoping appraisal moves us. We've been doing it since the beginning of the time. We have 12% basic battery proficiency in this building. But you know what else I saw today? We already have the answers right here. So Joyce, what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you and your social studies colleagues to come with me on your next planning period. And we're going to go into math classes to watch kids we teach who might in mathematics come alive when they won't in social studies. And I'm going to ask you this question. Why is math better? No, I'm not going to ask you that. Why are they doing more for her? I'm not going to ask you that. What's going on in that task that causes them to give energy that we could take back to social studies? Math teachers, we're going to walk science. Science, we're going to go watch vocational. Vocational, we're going to the fine arts. We already have the answers in this building. We just haven't asked the right questions, and the form's killing us. The way the school improvement program worked in Arkansas was if your test scores didn't come up, you could get what they called reprieval. You could get out of school improvement or get another year. If when these two men, they were called the special masters, when the special masters came from the University of California, Berkeley and walked your school in May, if they saw cognitive engagement at a higher level than your test scores suggest, you don't get closed down. They came in May and they walked our classes. I wasn't allowed to go with them. They came to me at the end of the day and said, "You're getting reprieve. We're not closing you down." I said, "That is excellent news. How come? Why?" And they said, "Because we saw cognitive engagement at a higher level. How have you been doing it?" And I said, basically it's the task rubric, or we called it the engagement cube. We do something from here, and something from here, and something from here. And once a week, the teachers get together by department, by course, and say, "What's the most important thing kids need to learn this week? How can we get it over here?" I said, and we've been doing it for 19 weeks in a row. He said, "Well, please keep doing that." I said, "I think we will. I think we will." 2 years later, we went from 12% basic proficiency to 73%. It was the most growth anyone had in Arkansas. And so people started coming to us and we said, we just walked it across here. We took the task. We didn't get different kids or different teachers. We already had the right answers. We just hadn't worked the question yet. This is where I hope you get a chance to play with your SIP. This is where I hope you guys get to calendar and build. Don't let the metric win. Don't let the reporting win. Because I know this. If you give a mouse a cookie, he'll want a glass of milk. If you give a teacher a checklist, she wants everything checked off. Nobody does anything 100% of the time. It's balance.